Hello all, it's your girl Tiffany, Madam Luscious Black Beauty, your poetic psychic Pisces, High Priestess, aka the light that shines like a diamond. Tonight I am here for another one of my missing mysteries. Tonight's missing mystery is going to be for Natalie Holloway. Before I start, I would just like to say thank you all for listening and for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like, share, and subscribe. That would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Okay, guys? Okay, so without any further ado, we're going to get into the messages. I do hope everyone is doing well and feeling well. Okay? So, I decided to do this because it I actually have been thinking about it for a while. I did a reading for another young lady a while back, where I actually had thought about this case, and I've been hearing this person's name been brought up, so I said, you know what, I have been saying that I was going to do a reading for her, and so I was just trying to get some inspiration for my next missing mystery, and I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do this, okay? So I started working on this on yesterday, and it was crazy. It was all kinds of crazy. Like, I really could solve this case without even doing the reading, guys. Like, the majority of the information I already knew. You know, like the overall information, I really already knew. I could tell anybody off top exactly what happened, what went on with Natalie Holloway, okay? But, you know, the who's, the whens, the what's, the hows, the who all involved and everything. It was like, you know, was the foggy area or whatever. So I got the bigger picture of everything that went on, and yeah, I'm just so tired of this damn deceptive energy and dealing with these sellouts around here. It's crazy, guys, okay? So we're gonna get into these messages tonight. Like I said, this missing mystery is going to be for Natalie Holloway. Okay, I'm just cleansing the energy, guys. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and get into these messages, okay? So I'm going to go over some overall information with you all. I did do a spirit reading for her. I also pulled some cards, pulled some further information for her as well that I'm going to get into for you all. But I'm going to go over the main information. I'm going to do the spirit reading. We're going to do the extra messages and then discuss whatever else comes along, okay? Well, first of all, everybody has probably heard about Natalie Holloway, okay? It made, you know, mainstream media news. It, like, circulated all over the world. It was a really hot topic for a very long time, especially, you know, well, she's American, but she was actually on a trip outside the United States at the time of her disappearance. So, it was very interesting, to say the least, okay? So, just off top, red flags number one, okay? You need to understand that the powers that be controls the airwaves, okay? Anything that you see on the news, anything you see on TV, anything you hear on the radio, anything you see in the newspapers, magazine, they control the flow of all the airways of communication, okay? So, and as you all know, all you have to do is use common sense, okay? There's people who come up missing every day. There's people who are killed in various different ways every single day, okay? There's various different crimes that goes on, that has taken place, that goes on like literally every day. And they do not all make mainstream media news, okay? Now, do not get that twisted. If it does not make breaking news, it does not mean that higher echelons of individuals aren't involved. However, when something is, blown up explosively about a situation, you can almost guarantee that the powers that be are controlling the entire narrative of everything you see, everything you hear, every bit of information that becomes public information and is attainable by, the masses. Okay, so red flag number one. Okay, besides that, okay, Natalie was a senior in high school. Okay, she was on a senior trip at the time, and they went to Aruba in the Caribbean. They were taking the senior trip. Okay, so she was 18 years old, but this was like, your all-American teenager. Okay, she was pretty tall, long blonde hair, blue eyes. We know, common sense, once again. Look for the signs. Look for the red flags, guys, okay? So I told you red flag number one. This was blown up explosively, okay, breaking news. Red flag number two. We know that the powers that be, Hollywood, are obsessed with blonde hair, blue eyes. This is the very reason why you see people of all different shapes, sizes, and colors who are either in the industry, media, news, like whatever it is that they do, at some point in time, you see the ritual where they have to wear the blonde hair. They use it to symbolize different things, but I won't, go into all of that on tonight. I just wanted to point this out quickly to you all, okay? But they love the natural blonde hair, blue eyes as well, okay? They make other people do it just as some type of humiliation type of ritual, okay? Especially when it comes to brown-skinned people that they know clearly this does not look right on them. However, they have to go through all different type of humiliation, type of the tactics and things and rituals and different things or whatever. And, if they do it, I guess they get paid more depending on what, the rituals that they go through with and do or whatever. However, the natural blonde hair, blue eyes, okay, all American teenager, smart, good grades, straight A student, okay, this is going to pique the interest of some very powerful people, elite individuals in power, okay? So that was your red flag number two, okay? What the visions that I started seeing, okay, I see like a piece of island, like I almost want to say a beach, but it could be like look like a beach area, or it could just be like a piece of island, like land, like, because I see water, rocks, maybe like a sandy type of area or something like that. But I see like bits and pieces of it, okay? And it's just like flashes of it is what I see. Then I see somebody with gloves on. I can clearly see somebody with gloves on. I can clearly see somebody grab Natalie by the neck. However, this was not to kill her. This was to be overly aggressive with her, to be in control of her. Somebody with gloves on grabbed her neck, choked her, or just grabbed her by the neck and like pulled her along type of thing. I definitely feel like a snap type of energy. Not like a snap of the fingers, but that's how quick snap. That something happened, like somebody snapped and did this when they grabbed her neck, okay? That's what I feel, okay? The next red flag about this situation, like I said, Natalie Holloway was on a senior trip, okay? She was with a big group of individuals that she knew from school in a place that she had never been, that she had never visited. Anybody with common sense, you would literally stick around or in groups of individuals that you came there with, individuals that you were familiar with, that you know pretty well, okay? So, third red flag for me was, why was Natalie Holloway with a group of all men? Okay, there were no other girls with her. So red flag number 3 for me was, Why was Natalie Holloway, this girl who is not even from Aruba, okay, in the Caribbean, with a group of strange guys that was not on the trip with them, that she obviously did not meet till she got there, okay? It has been verified that these individuals, these men, were the people who had last seen her alive, okay? So she clearly was the only female. She clearly was with a group of them, okay? You have the Calpro brothers. I believe they're like a set of two brothers or whatever. You have the, I believe it's, I pronounce it Joran van der Sloot, but I believe the J is supposed to sound like an H, so it's probably like Horan or something like that. Van der Sloot, him. So we're talking about 3 to 5, 3 or 4, or 3 to 5 individuals, all men, that only this one girl was with. These were the individuals who last seen her when she disappeared. Okay, not none of her other classmates in sight, away from the group that she came with. It was highly suspicious to me. That was red flag number 3 for me. Okay, then I see her, bits and pieces of her after the neck grab thing, because while I was doing this, my neck literally started hurting, and I knew like something was done to her neck. Something hurt her neck. Natalie was, I also see her being raped, but I see multiple people, okay? So I feel like Natalie was gang raped, okay? But then she's like, after that happened, then she was gone. Like, she was not there anymore. When she was gang raped, everything that happened, from the person that I seen with the gloves, to her being grabbed by the neck, to somebody snapping all of a sudden, clicking, going off, to the gang rape, happened in Aruba, okay? After that, she was not killed during that, is basically what I was trying to say, okay? I automatically felt her presence leave from there. I knew she was not there anymore after that, okay? And immediately, just off the top of the dome, I know this girl was sex trafficked, okay? She's an all-American 18-year-old teenager, smart, great grades, blonde hair, blue eyes, okay? Top of the list for the powers that be, okay? So off the top of the dome, I know this girl was trafficked. What I did not know exactly is how did she end up being trafficked, which is the information that I just told you, that I'm going to get more into or whatever, because things went on with her in Aruba before she was taken from Aruba, okay? I automatically felt her presence leave from there. I knew from the moment from the breaking news to all the red flags, I knew that the powers that be was involved. I knew that this girl was trafficked. I knew it was for somebody higher up. I knew that this was a sacrifice of this girl. I knew that this was a setup, okay, which means multiple people had to play their part, had to play their role in this situation, and basically a lot of individuals know exactly what was to take place with her in Aruba, and from the time she left Aruba, she was the only one that was left in the dark about what was going to happen, okay? So like I said, this young lady was trafficked. Now the things that I expressed to you that happened to her while in Aruba, this happened by Aruba residents, okay? When Natalie was trafficked, she was trafficked by Americans, okay? When I say I feel her presence leave there, she not only was no longer there, but I feel her back closer to home, like, not like where she came from, but back in the United States. So when she was handed over to the sex traffickers were American, okay? And she was trafficked back to the United States, okay? I sense like a lot of wealth, okay? Somebody with extreme wealth and extreme power. And then I felt like a billionaire level. Like, this person is from millionaire to billionaire status, okay? This is the individual who paid for Natalie. Somebody specifically wanted Natalie and paid for her, okay, to be delivered to them, okay? When that happened, she was on another island. This is another island that I see. Natalie was on an island in the United States. When she got back to the United States, she was still on somebody who was very wealthy that has a piece of land or island, or if they don't own it, they definitely have property on some type of island type of land, okay? But it's in the United States, okay? I also get like, besides this person being millionaire, billionaire status and like literally paying, like this person paid for her, like picking something out of a catalog, like, and I instantly felt mail order bride, okay? I instantly felt that, okay, guys? So this is how this person purchased her, okay? And I literally got, I heard mail order bride, and then I heard sex slave. I feel like there was some type of fraudulent marriage or something, okay? And I feel her, she was alive for a while, okay? After she was trafficked, she was actually alive for a while. She endured quite a bit that I'm going to go through in the spirit reading. She is no longer alive right now. My spirit guides tell me that she was killed in 2015. Okay, so she went missing in 2005. Okay, so that was the overall, which means she was kept alive for about 10 years after her disappearance. Okay, so like I said, Natalie Holloway is blonde hair, blue eyes. She was born October 21st, 1986. Okay, what interests me about this, okay, there's signs and symbolisms that stick out everywhere, guys, okay? So when I was researching and studying on the information, it literally gave her date of birth and like either where she was born or where she lived at the time, okay? So like I said, she was born October 21st, 1986, okay? What interests me, you know how states are abbreviated? Okay, so when I looked at it, it literally said MS Clinton, okay? So if you read that, it's Miss Clinton, okay? But, I mean, I think everybody know the state that is abbreviated MS, okay? So I found that quite interesting as well. Another red flag that just kind of stuck out. I'm like, wow, okay. So she disappeared May 30th of 2005. She was 18 years old at the time of her disappearance. She vanished on a high school graduation trip to Aruba in the Caribbean. She was declared dead on January 12th of 2012. Her education came from Mountain Brook High School, okay? She was a senior at Mountain Brook High School. Her parents are Beth Holloway and Dave Holloway, okay? There has been no trace of Natalie Holloway, and she hasn't ever been found, okay? Her whereabouts and remains unknown to this day. Natalie's case resides under seeking information rather than among the missing persons cases, okay? The Cowpo brothers have always maintained that Natalie was alive the last time that they saw her. Like I said, the Cowpo brothers were the individuals that were last seen with Natalie before she disappeared. The Joran Vandersloot was last seen with her as well before the disappearance. okay? And I think like a couple other people that's connected to them, okay? There were multiple arrests that were made, but they were always released without being charged for a crime against Natalie Holloway, okay? I just want to say another red flag that sticks out for me, you know, when something makes mainstream media news and almost immediately you see friends and different people, they're playing these crisis acting roles. When the parents damn near immediately are doing interviews back to back to back, I need y'all to know something. You, from the outside looking in, may think, oh my gosh, how sad, awful is this situation. But if you are actually in a real situation where you are grieving, you're not going to be going to prime time Hollywood high rating shows that pays you for being there. You need to understand that. Every time you see these people go to Dr. Phil, Oprah show, I don't know, 48 Hours Mystery, like any of the shows, okay, where they, you know, go on here and they interview these people and they act like they're doing real interviews. Y'all, the stuff is scripted and they are paid for being there, okay? Get that understood. Nobody, okay? If you have a family member that has just went missing or has come up dead, would you be eager to be on the news talking to people, you know, other than like authorities to help them, assist them in finding your child or finding out what happened? You wouldn't be traveling from place to people's studios getting paid to go on these primetime shows to do no interviews that you get paid for even showing up and speaking on, okay? Another red flag, guys, that this stuff be scripted and it be set up by these powers that be. So y'all watch out for that, because this is how they run their staged events. This is how they run their false flags, okay? With crisis actors and a bunch of scripted BS, okay? To say the least. Okay. Another red flag for me, okay? Many of you are aware of John Ramsey. Now, John Ramsey is the father of JonBenet Ramsey, okay? Now, if you all remember the case for JonBenet Ramsey, she was raped, tortured, and murdered in her own home. A little girl, okay, that was like a pageant star. Her mother was later killed. They try to claim that she died from cancer, but Patsy was killed, okay? John Ramsey, JonBenet's father, okay? Now, this is the father who had a little girl daughter. I believe she was like 6 or something when this happened to her. And his wife died, and his daughter died, okay? He ended up hooking up, dating Beth Holloway for a short period of time. Now, Beth Holloway is Natalie Holloway's mother, okay? So you have two parents that end up random, not from the same place, don't live in the same area, magically come together to date for a little while. And y'all don't think that was set up? Is that not suspicious to you? Okay. Another red flag for me, okay? So now you got two parents that ended up hooking up together. One parent whose daughter was raped, tortured, and murdered in their own home, little girl. The other parent has a daughter that goes missing on a senior trip and ended up being sex trafficked. Okay? You don't find that interesting? Okay? So anyway, guys, that's the overall information that I have for you all. I'm going to get into the spirit reading because it is quite lengthy, okay? Okay, guys, like I said, I did a spirit reading for Natalie Holloway, and it is as follows, okay? So many people, you know, claim to be the truth, to want the truth, and different things. Yet when you real and you are the truth and you speak the truth, people have a problem with it, okay? So I hope people really want the truth when it comes to this, okay? because I don't get paid. I do this out the goodness of my heart. I do this because I want to heal and help people, because I want to make people awake and aware as to the world that we live in and the type of sinister, evil things that we the people endure and go through. But at the same time, providing people healing and closure that need closure. You know what I'm saying? Because there's many people that may have been against this young lady or anybody else that I do a missing mystery for or a murder mystery for. There are people that did care about them, that did love them. Okay. And I like to think that I'm doing this for those persons who need some kind of closure, okay, who were not involved, okay. Only the people who are involved in said horrendous crimes against somebody would be pissed off about somebody speaking the truth about it. Think about that, okay. Okay, guys. So this is for Natalie Holloway. Number 1, I asked my spirit guides, is Natalie Holloway still alive? At this, like I told you, she was for quite a while. As of today, she is not, okay? I asked my spirit guides, did any of Natalie's senior classmates do anything to harm her or is involved in her disappearance? My spirit guides tell me no. I asked my spirit guides, was Natalie Holloway the victim of human sex trafficking? My spirit guides tell me yes. I asked my spirit guides, did Joran van de Sloot hurt or harm Natalie Holloway in any way? My spirit guides tell me yes. I asked my spirit guides, was Natalie Holloway drugged? My spirit guides tell me yes. I asked my spirit guides, did the Cowpoke brothers hurt or harm Natalie Holloway in any way? My spirit guides tell me yes. I asked my spirit guides, is Natalie Holloway dead? My spirit guides tell me as of today, yes. I asked my spirit guides, did the people whom were last with Natalie Holloway set her up? My spirit guides tell me yes. I asked my spirit guides, did the people that Natalie Holloway was last with sell her to sex traffickers? My spirit guides tell me yes. I asked my spirit guides, did the people who were last with Natalie Holloway kill her? My spirit guides tell me no. I asked my spirit guides, did the people who were last with Natalie Holloway assault and rape her? My spirit guides tell me yes, okay? So let me break this down for you all. Like I told you, the Joran van der Sloot, the Cowpoke brothers, and I see 2 other individuals that I'm not sure of their name. I feel like it's a total of 3 to 5 people. Okay? More so leaning towards like 5. Okay? But 3 for sure. Okay? These individuals lured Natalie Holloway away after after drugging her. Okay? This is how this is how they got her away. Okay, they were a part of this setup. They set Natalie Holloway up. This is why they lured her away. They eventually sold her to sex traffickers. Okay, they did not kill Natalie Holloway, but before they gave her to the sex traffickers, they did assault and rape her. This is where the gang rape came in. She was gang raped by those individuals, and then she was sold to the traffickers. Okay. But if you think that these individuals, these persons acted on their own, they did not. They were paid to do exactly what they did because they were nothing more than patsies. And once they got her, they were able to have their way with her. But their main job that they was being paid for to get her to the next port of entry, which is to the traffickers. Okay? And that's what they were paid for. I asked my spirit guides, was Natalie Holloway lured away? My spirit guides tell me yes. I asked my spirit guides, did strangers unknown attack Natalie? My spirit guides tell me yes. Okay. This is when she was attacked again. This is when she was grabbed by the traffickers, because what happened was after she was assaulted and raped by the Cowpoke brothers, by the Joran van der Sloot individuals, they left her on this like beachy island type of area, something like that. This is when she was left alone by herself in the middle of somewhere that she probably didn't know her way around, and if she did, she was severely intoxicated, okay? This is when she was attacked by the traffickers and taken, okay, when she was left alone. And it was set up like that. That's the reason why they left her. My spirit guides, like I said, I asked my spirit guides, why was Natalie Holloway alone with several men by herself? My spirit guides tell me that she did not go willingly on her own. She was drugged first and she was lured away by them. Okay, this is how they got her away. So she clearly had enough sense just not to run off with some pack of guys. Okay, and the reason why I know that, you know, because somebody would have tried to make it seem like, oh, she was fast, she was hot in the ass, and this, that, and the other. Natalie Holloway was a virgin up until she got to Aruba. Now, she did do some things, participate in some things on her own with other individuals that I'm going to get to in a minute. You know, just partying, kicking it with classmates, hanging out, this, that, and the other. She was, you know, felt like she had a slice of feeling grown when they went on this trip. So there was things that was done. But Natalie Holloway was a virgin until she got to Aruba. Okay? I asked my spirit guides, was Natalie Holloway under the influence of drugs? My spirit guides tell me yes. I asked my spirit guides, was Natalie Holloway under the influence of alcohol? My spirit guides tell me yes. On top of willing consumption of drugs and alcohol, Natalie Holloway was also drugged. This is the reason why she was severely impaired. This is the reason why she was severely intoxicated, okay? Because besides what she was partying on, chilling on, she was drugged with like a date rape drug or something. And so I even asked specifically because I wanted to know, did like somebody bump into her, jab her with a needle, or, you know, did somebody slip her, you know, give her a pill that was like something else, or like what did they do? And my spirit guide showed me liquid being poured in her drink. It's like in a tube, like almost look like a little tube that that comes from a hospital. You know those little tube things when the phlebotomists come and like draw, like it looks like a tube like that, but a liquid that was in it and it being poured in her drink. Okay, so she was drugged. Her drink was drugged as well. I asked my spirit guides, did Natalie Holloway go or leave willingly with the Cowpo brothers? My spirit guides tell me no. I asked my spirit guides, did the Cowpo brothers dispose of Natalie Holloway's body? My spirit guides tell me no, okay? So you see how I ask certain things and then I'll rebut and rephrase the question to ask something else that's basically the same. Because I already asked, did they kill her? And my spirit guides told me no. I already asked. And so I asked again, did they dispose of her body? So if I would have got the wrong answer on that, you know, I would have known, okay, I need to go back. Something was wrong, okay? So I just wanted to let y'all know how I do that, okay? I asked my spirit guides, did Natalie Holloway willingly have sex with Joran van der Sloot, the Cowper brothers, or any of the men that she was last seen with? My spirit guides tell me no. She did not willingly have sex with those individuals. She was drugged by those individuals. She was lured away by those individuals. Those individuals assaulted her. They raped her and they left her, okay? And that's when she was taken after that. I asked my spirit guides, were the Cowpo brothers, Joran van der Sloot, only used as patsies in a cover-up of this crime? My spirit guides tell me yes. All of those individuals that she was last seen with were paid patsies, okay? If you don't know what a patsy is like a fall guy of a situation. Should, you know, something go awry, something go down the wrong way, and I'm gonna tell you how they ended up. The Joran van der Sloot, he started popping off at the mouth too much. Like, he kept on giving false statements. Like, these guys were arrested several times, okay? Multiple times. But they couldn't make anything stick. And so they like, were released without being charged. But this guy here, like, they went on to do interviews on TV and stuff as well. But he kept popping off. Every time they met with authorities, he would come up with like another story. Okay? And ironically, the last story that he came up with, like one of the stories was, oh, the last time we dropped her off at this certain place. That was the last time we seen her. And then it was, oh, they all had sex together and they left out there, but they didn't say anything because they felt bad about leaving her by herself. And then the next story, like Dr. Phil ended up coming out with a show, and they end up running bits of clips of one of the guys saying that, oh yeah, they had sex with her or whatever. So he came back, recanted that because somebody had recorded him, and he told them the truth. But then he came back and recanted it. He told authorities that they sold her to sex traffickers, which is in fact what happened. After that, all kinds of things started popping off for the Joran van der Sloot guy, okay? And he ended up getting caught up in another situation, but that was a setup too, okay, guys? But my spirit guys tell me that these guys were patsies, okay? They were paid for the whole setup from point A to point B, C, whatever, okay? They were patsies, all of them, okay? And the one father of the Cowboy Brothers or whatever, the one interview that he was with Beth Holloway or whatever, he was like sweating profusely and all this other kind of stuff because they all got information that they know the truth of everything that took place. And they know they couldn't really speak like that. Everything was scripted, guys, like for real. And they were all paid off, okay? But those guys that they kept on questioning and that they drugged through the media, they were patsies, okay? Period, point blank. I asked my spirit guides, was Natalie Holloway a sacrifice? My spirit guides tell me yes. I asked my spirit guides, do Natalie Holloway's parents know what really happened to her, happened to their daughter? My spirit guides tell me yes. It was all a show, okay? They all know exactly what happened to Natalie Holloway because Natalie was a freaking sacrifice, okay? Don't play with me. I asked, are the elite satanic powers that be behind the disappearance of Natalie Holloway? My spirit guides tell me yes. I asked my spirit guides, was Natalie Holloway's parents paid for the setup, sacrifice, and disappearance of their daughter? My spirit guides tell me yes. Beth Holloway was paid $50,000. Dave Holloway was paid $50,000. George Twitty, which was Beth's other husband, was paid $50,000. They all knew exactly what happened, what the setup, the whole plan that was going to happen to Natalie Holloway. You know why? Because she was a target. This girl was bought and paid for before she even left and went on that trip. It was all a setup. And that was their perfect opportunity to grab her and to come up with some bogus story. Oh, she done went out here to Aruba, in the Caribbean, and, you know, places she don't know. She got lost. She wandered off. Somebody grabbed, you know, who knows? Like, stop it. Stop playing. I asked my spirit guides, was Joran van der Sloot paid for his participation in Natalie's disappearance? My spirit guides tell me yes. I asked, was the Cowboy Brothers, you know, in a whole, their father, whomever, paid in their participation in the disappearance of Natalie Holloway? My spirit guides tell me yes. I asked my spirit guides, is Natalie Holloway, rather dead or alive, in the United States currently? My spirit guides tell me yes. I also asked, was she outside the United States? My spirit guides tell me no. Okay, so this clarifies that Natalie was trafficked back to the United States. This means that the person that wanted her and paid for her was American. Okay, because she was trafficked back to the U.S. Okay. I asked my spirit guides, was Natalie Holloway taken for the purposes of someone in power? My spirit guides tell me yes. There was a specific individual who is between a millionaire and a billionaire who paid for her. Okay, he specifically wanted her as like a mail order bride, as a sex slave, whatever. But a specific individual paid for her, okay? Now, there's the higher ups, the elites, the powers that be, all knew about it. They all, you know, were in on it to cover this up and everything, but there was a specific individual that wanted her, okay? I asked my spirit guides, was John Ramsey sent in as a handler to date Beth Holloway by the satanic powers that be? My spirit guides tell me yes. I asked my spirit guides, is Natalie Holloway currently being used as a sex slave? She is not currently being used because she is dead now, but my spirit guides tell me that yes, when she was alive, she was being used as a sex slave. And this was before her death, okay? This billionaire or this millionaire person, handler, that bought her, okay? So she was being used as a sex slave by this millionaire handler that she had. I asked my spirit guides, is Natalie Holloway being hidden? Was she ever hidden underground? So when Natalie Holloway was trafficked back into the United States, she was hidden underground for a period of time after she was taken, okay? And, you know, after they did other things with her or to her, at some point, I believe that, like, she was, like I said, I see her on this other type of piece of land or island or something, and, like, in a mansion or something like that, okay? Mansion, castle, something really huge, okay? Hold on, guys. I asked my spirit guides, was there a cover-up in the case of Natalie Holloway? My spirit guides tell me yes. Everybody is in on this cover-up, y'all. From the satanic powers that be, the Aruba police, the FBI, the CIA, and others involved. Okay? I asked my spirit guides, did Beth and Dave Holloway sell out their daughter? My spirit guide says yes, for money. I asked my spirit guides, are Beth and Dave Holloway sellouts themselves to the powers that be or belong to any secret societies? My spirit guides tell me yes. I asked my spirit guides, was Natalie Holloway thrown in the sea? My spirit guides tell me no. I asked my spirit guides, was Natalie Holloway a virgin upon her arrival to Aruba? My spirit guides tell me yes. You know, and she was taken advantage of, and then, of course, she was grossly taken advantage of even after she was taken, okay? I asked my spirit guides, was Natalie killed for her organs? My spirit guides told me yes. She wasn't killed specifically for her organs, but when they decided to kill her, yes, her organs were taken. I told you, this girl was a thoroughbred all-American, okay? It was something about her blood, her DNA type that they liked. Not to mention she was natural, blonde hair, blue eyes. They wanted her, okay? And she had good organs, okay, as well, okay? I asked my spirit guides, was Natalie Holloway, or my spirit guides tell me, excuse me, guys, Natalie Holloway was killed by someone she was pimped out to. Okay, so, Natalie, what I see a group of individuals, okay, in a specific place. There was like I said, she was used as a sex slave. She was pimped out to other individuals. I believe a specific person was assigned the duty of actually killing her. But I see other people around. And what popped in my mind, guys, if any of you remember the movie Hostel, and you remember how those elite individuals, very wealthy elite, you know, they had this, you know, the dog pound thingy tattoo on them so they could identify each other. But they had this, like, club of them who, like, either enjoyed, they would pay a lot of money to kill people. They either got off by killing other people, and some of them got off just by watching, okay? And this is what I feel like. And you remember how they were all sitting, like, in this audience type of thing, and they're drinking champagne and, you know, getting high, drinking, doing whatever it is they're doing, but it's like this glass type of thing, and then the lights come up, and you know, you got the victim there. And then whoever, you know, paid for this victim to be taken and how they want them killed, they get to choose what weapons is used to kill them, like, and all the other crap. I feel like something like that. Like, it was very ritual-like when she was killed. And I see other individuals around, but I see a specific person that was assigned to killing her. Okay? So, my spirit guides tell me that Natalie Holloway's millionaire handler, he did eventually sell her. Well, he sold her to someone else. But she was pimped out to several different individuals, okay? There was a fraudulent marriage that was arranged for Natalie Holloway and someone else as well, okay, guys? My spirit guides tell me that someone in Hollywood bought Natalie Holloway, okay? And like I said, almost like buying something out of a catalog or something. And this is the reason why I tell y'all need to stop letting your kids take school pictures, man. These powers that be got a way to pull that crap up. It's all in the database. And that extra little picture that you get, and it's got your kid's face on it, and they tell you on the bottom of it, it says for missing and exploited children. So if your child ever comes up missing, they have an image of them in the system, in the database. Y'all, these elites pull up that system, and they literally can pick your kids out like little roses in a garden. You understand me? Stop letting your kids take school pictures. Them yearbook pictures goes in a freaking database, bro. They know who is the smartest, who is the talented, most talented, who has the best grades. They even prey upon those who are slow, who has disabilities, because those are the ones that they feel like are easily accessible. You understand me? Are easily persuadable, and that they can lure away in some type of way. Okay, they have to go through other strategic measures for individuals who are, say, very smart, very intelligent, all-American type of students or whatever. In that case, a lot of times they go through the parents. And if the parent is a sellout or a part of some type of secret society or linked up with the powers that be in some type of way, they will proposition the parents, offer them a certain amount of money, and they go along with setting up their own children. Y'all stop letting y'all's kids take these school pictures, man. And they showed you this. I told y'all I was going to do a review of the Clifford movie. Now, about Clifford the Big Red Dog, that just came out not too long ago. I took my daughter to see that movie. All in all, it was a good little family fun movie. But you got to look at the subliminals in that movie. I didn't talk about it yet because I didn't want to spoil it for anybody that has not went. They showed you the cloning lab in that movie. They showed you how the girl that had the little red dog, the Clifford dog, there was this guy who was a billionaire. He ran the cloning lab. They was experimenting with all different things, creating all different type of animals. Like, he had a sheep that had like 2 heads and like all kinds of weird stuff in this cloning lab that they had, y'all. When they seen this dog, somebody ended up taking pictures out in the park of this girl with this dog, and it ended up going viral. He was able to pull up that girl's pictures and pulled up all her information, found out where she went from her school picture, found out where she went to school and everything. Her mom was out of town at the time. Her uncle was watching, like babysitting her when all of this took place. Do you know this millionaire, they showed you how they lured them away as well, how they trafficked these kids. He showed up with a huge wad of money and offered this girl, because the whole point was he wanted the dog, okay? Because this dog was a special breed, because Clifford ended up getting so big and was magical and things or whatever. He showed up and offered this girl who's in school a big old wad of money for the dog, okay? Now, the uncle, he's stupid. He ready to sell out. He like, yeah. You know, he broke. The little girl, she loved the dog. So she's like, no. So he was like, you know, the uncle was like, let me just talk to her for a minute, or what, trying to bribe her into going along with this. That's a lot of money or whatever. As soon as they walked out, he said, oh, I hate kids. Y'all better stop thinking that these witches and these warlocks and these folks in power, these powers that be like kids, they hate kids. They use them. They use them for what they want to use them for, and they are disposable to them. Every witch movie that has ever came out has a scene in it where the witch is depicting that they hate children. These satanic powers that be do not like children, bro. Stop letting your kids take school pictures because they cherry picking your kids out. They picking them out like little flowers in a garden. I'm telling you. When your kids come up missing from the school playground, when your kids come up missing from the bus stop, when your kids come up missing from the park round the way, that's because they have been targeted. They have been singled out, and they done been watching everything. And if you think that this was some isolated event, you a fool. They send the dummies on a lower level, the sellouts, the traffickers, to take the risk to come and get them. But the ones that actually want them, that pay for them, man, they got connections with everybody. The school district know, the bus drivers will know, the teachers will know, other people, other sellouts in the neighborhood will know. Everybody be on the lookout on the day that whatever's supposed to go down. So y'all better stop playing. Don't think it's a game when it's really not, man. They show you the truth in plain sight in these movies. They tried to kidnap my daughter. I told y'all about that a long time ago. I ain't going to go back in there. They tried to kidnap my baby off the playground, bro. My daughter has special abilities too. Me and her both had a vision on the at the same exact time about it. That's why I don't play by my baby. If I had to sit up at school all day, bruh, yeah, you ain't going to take mine and you can't pay me for mine. Stop playing with me. But it's a whole lot of sellouts that's out here that's pimping their kids out left and right. They don't care nothing about selling their kids out for a little bit of money. Nevertheless, y'all, I'm just telling y'all. But I wasn't saying all that to throw shade. The Clifford movie. The Clifford movie, all in all, is a good little family fun movie. But y'all know with all these movies, they have signs and symbolisms in these movies. I'm just telling y'all straight up. They showed y'all the cloning lab in that movie. They showed y'all about these leech powers that be and you know how they basically pay for whatever they want. They even showed you how they can go in the system and literally pull up any and all information on anybody anywhere. I kid you not. Everything about this girl, her parents, where she lived, where she went to school, like everything came up about this girl, y'all. With a click of a button, they do this shit. It is not a game, y'all. I'm trying to tell you. And they do this, they do that on their own. It's just a plus for them if the parents will sell out and to do anything for money. They greedy and they materialistic. Man, please. Okay, guys, so let me see. Where was I at? So like I said, a fraudulent marriage was arranged for Natalie Holloway at some point with someone, okay? What I want to tell you is this individual who is very wealthy, this millionaire handler that Natalie Holloway had, this person is someone in Hollywood, okay? That is the person who bought Natalie Holloway. It is a very powerful, rich individual in Hollywood, bruh. And specifically, I know Hollywood because I went through everybody. I'm talking about, I asked the overall question. I said, was it a politician that bought, you know, Natalie Holloway? I was told no. And I felt like, you know, it was a maybe. So I literally broke politician down. I'm like, was it a governor? Was it a senator? Was it a mayor? Was it a president? I wanted to know specifically who bought this girl. It was somebody very powerful in Hollywood, y'all. That's what I got the hit on. The person that bought her, that specifically paid to have her trafficked, was somebody very high up and wealthy, very wealthy in Hollywood, okay? We're not talking about your average Joe in Hollywood. Somebody that's running some shit in Hollywood, okay? Very wealthy. My spirit guides tell me that Natalie Holloway was killed in a satanic sex ritual, okay? My spirit guides tell me that Natalie Holloway was kept alive for 10 years after her disappearance. She died as of 2015 in this satanic ritual that she was in. Y'all brace yourselves. Elite cannibals consumed, meaning ate, Natalie Holloway's body, her remains, okay, after she was killed. They ate this girl's body, okay. However, Natalie Holloway's organs were kept, okay. Natalie Holloway, at some point, she was taken to she was taken to the cloning lab facility that they have. And I asked specifically, was Natalie Holloway cloned? And my spirit guides I just heard for a ritual. So I really didn't get clear clarification as to whether she was cloned or not, but I know at some point she was taken to the cloning facility and some type of ritual took place at this cloning facility. My spirit guides tell me, like I said, when she was taken and she ended up being trafficked back to the United States, she was servicing and pimped out to a lot of elite individuals. I will refrain from calling people out by name, okay? Although I could do so. But my spirit guides tell me that governors, plural, presidents, plural, Hollywood celebrities, plural, and many more had sex with Natalie Holloway, okay? She was pimped out to a lot of people. My spirit guides tell me that Natalie Holloway sustained an injury, another injury, okay, to the neck, okay? I believe what ended up killing her, like she was stabbed with something in the neck, like something was rammed through her neck. Some object, okay, that penetrated the neck like through and through, long enough to go from one end to the other end. But she was just literally jabbed in the freaking neck. And that was like, I feel like that was like the main pain that I was feeling last night. At first when I sensed it, I was on the part where the person that grabbed her by the neck, but I was told that that did not kill her. That person was just trying to, you know, rough her up, getting control of her, drag her to where they wanted her to go. But something her neck ended up being punctured. I believe this is what killed her. Something was jammed or rammed through her neck. I even believe it was something bigger, more massive than a knife. Okay? But like something went through and through her neck. But like, and I feel that she's in spirit, because those that have crossed over and made it to the light, they can communicate with me, okay? And so it's certain things that they try to tell me, and they communicate me in different ways. They'll make me feel a certain way. I'll get certain sensations, or I'll hear certain things. And it was really a trip last night, because I literally, in the midst of doing this reading, you know, usually when I get through, if I find out that the victim has passed, I call out their name and I say, I'm so sorry that this happened to you, but I'm sending you peace, love, and light. And I literally heard her voice. I heard her say, "You can hear me?" It was really funny. I was like, yeah. Okay. But, so I just wanted to share that with you all, okay? But that was like the main thing throughout the whole reading. She was making my neck hurt. Something severe happened to her neck. Like I told you, all others watched while Natalie Holloway was being killed, okay? And like I said, I get this hostile type of view. Like from that movie, Hostel, it was a situation kind of like that. Like, but this was a ritual. This was a sex ritual. There was a lot of other people around. I get an image, half of Hostel, half of Eyes Wide Shut, okay? Type of deal going on here. My spirit guides tell me that the murder of Natalie Holloway was recorded, okay? So a snuff film was created of what happened to Natalie Holloway, okay? Natalie Holloway's blood was drained from her body, and it was passed around this group. It was drank, okay? For the adrenochrome, obviously. We all know about that. If you don't, you should. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. Natalie Holloway has crossed over, okay, and she has made it to the light, okay. So I just want to let you all know that as well. My spirit guides tell me that Joran van der Sloot was set up by the powers that be, okay. And the reason why I'm telling you this, y'all, because in 2015. There was a young lady by the name of Stephanie Flores Ramirez. Stephanie Flores Ramirez, okay? I believe this young lady was like the daughter of some political figure, okay? How she ended up, it was set up, okay? She was literally pimped out and hooked up with this Joran van der Sloot guy, okay? They had one main thing in common. They liked cocaine, and so they was on a cocaine binge. Joran ended up telling police authorities later that he became suspicious of her after they got really high. He just got paranoid, okay? And he said that the girl had went through his laptop and found out that he connected to the Natalie Holloway case, but I believe that's a lie, okay? But nevertheless, Stephanie Flores Ramirez, she was found dead in 2010. I believe it was a hotel casino, okay? And Joran van der Sloot, one of the guys who was last seen with Natalie Holloway, had confessed to killing her, okay, during a cocaine binge, okay? He's now serving 28 years sentence, okay? But what I know about this information, my spirit guides tell me that Joran van der Sloot was set up by the powers that be for the murder of Stephanie Flores Ramirez. So he'd get locked up in prison, and to keep him from speaking out about Natalie Holloway and what he knew pertaining to her situation. I told y'all, all of these people were patsies. They were all paid off, guys, okay? And I told you, he was the main one that was steady doing interviews and talking to the authorities, and he would have a different story that he either tell to reporters or, you know, some show or the authorities every time, and then he'll recant it and be like, no, I was just lying. Oh, it was a lie. No, that didn't go like that, or whatever. And but the police in Aruba was obviously never able to make anything stick on them, so they would always get released, and they were never charged for anything pertaining to Natalie Holloway. Like I said, they were patsies. They were a part of the setup. They did drug her. They did gang rape her, and they handed her over to, well, they left her, okay? But they left her because they knew the sex traffickers were coming to take her, okay? And it was all a part of the setup. But they ended up setting him up on this Flores Ramirez murder of this young lady to get him locked up, to keep him from speaking anymore about Natalie Holloway, okay? Because at this point in time, it was like very suspicious. You know, this, like I said, this made mainstream media news. It was a very massive story. And so, you know, there was a lot of things going on. They wanted to shut this guy up. And in order to shut him up, they set him up on a crime and had him locked up for this girl's murder, okay, which is another red flag, okay? This is an average Joe guy who resided in Aruba, okay, that hooked up, somehow was able to hook up with some top-notch political figure's daughter, okay? They went on this cocaine binge together at some casino hotel, and he ended up wigging out and killing her, allegedly. And, you know, he ended up doing a 28-year sentence or whatever. But I believe they threatened him. He couldn't speak out and he couldn't recant. So they basically forced this confession from him. I don't believe that, you know, like, yeah, it was set up. My spirit guides are clarifying that it was set up. Nevertheless, guys, my spirit guides tell me that there was a senior classmate of Natalie Holloway's that knew about the setup. So it was either one classmate or several classmates. I feel like this was several of her senior classmates, okay? Because that's how my spirit guide said it, classmates, as in plural, meaning more than one, that knew about the setup against Natalie Holloway and the fact that she was a target. But they were not directly involved. They just knew about the setup, and they knew that she was a targeted individual, okay, and something was going to go down with her. My spirit guides do tell me that one of Natalie's classmates provided her with the drugs. So this male senior classmate that she had is who she was getting the drugs from, which I find quite interesting, because I'm like, how in the hell, I know good and well he didn't travel there with the drugs, which means he had to have some connections there to get the drugs. But if he did smuggle the drugs in there and was just like, you know, Free Willy passing out drugs to people, his classmates there, like, he cold-blooded. Like, seriously. I just would not take the risk of trying to smuggle drugs on nobody's plane or whatever. I'm not sure how they traveled there, but I'm pretty sure this is quite a distance away, so they flew or something. But, okay, guys, my spirit guides told me that one of her classmates is the one who was providing her with the drugs. Also, like I said, Natalie was a virgin until she got to Aruba. So they was doing a lot of partying, a lot of kicking, a lot of drinking, getting high. And my spirit guides do tell me that she did willingly had sex with one or multiple of her classmates while on her trip in Aruba. Okay, this was not a situation that was forced. She did so on her own. They were all partying and kicking it. This was with some of her classmates. Okay. Like I said, Natalie was a virgin until her trip to Aruba. Okay. My spirit guides tell me that Joran Vandersloot, the Calpo brothers, were paid $40,000 each to get Natalie Holloway to the sex traffickers. Okay. All in all, my spirit guides tell me the powers that be, okay, this main individual from Hollywood that wanted Natalie Holloway paid roughly $290,000 for Natalie Holloway. Really, a little bit more than that. The parents, okay, the mother, the father, and the stepfather, a total of $150,000 went to them. Joran was paid $40,000. Calpo brothers, $40,000. The traffickers were paid $60,000. Okay, that's a total of $290,000. There could be other people that's linked to the situation involved who were paid as well, but that's $290,000 that I'm able to calculate as far as the people that I know directly connected with Natalie Holloway. Last but not least, guys, after Natalie Holloway was abducted, she was kept drugged the entire time, and she was also placed under MK Ultra mind control. Okay? That concludes the reading for Natalie Ann Holloway. Okay, guys? I do thank you all for listening and watching. This video is already an hour and 7 minutes or so. I have some extra messages here that I pulled for this. I'm wondering if I should do a part 2 to this. Okay. So I think, guys, I think I'm going to wrap this video up. This is going to be part 1. If you will, I need you to come to part 2 to see the extra messages that I have pertaining to the Natalie Holloway's case, guys. Okay, thank you all for listening and for watching. I wish each and every one of you peace, love, and light. Okay, if you want to contact me, you can do so at tiffanyziegler60@gmail.com. If you would like to donate to the channel, you can do so through Cash App at $TiffDiamond36. It would be greatly appreciated. You would help me to grow and to glow this channel. You will help me to help and heal as many people as I so possibly can. Okay? Y'all take care of yourselves, take care of each other, but most of all, take care of your babies. Watch your surroundings, watch the company you keep. Y'all stay awake, stay aware, stay vigilant, and stay prepared. Okay? Because if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, baby. Until the next time, peace, love, and light. Namaste. Y'all be sure to come back to see part 2 of the Natalie Holloway case and the extra messages, okay? Bye, guys. Hello, all. It's your girl, Tiffany, Madam Luscious Black Beauty, your poetic psychic Pisces, High Priestess, a.k.a. the light that shines like a diamond. Thank you all for listening and for watching on today. I do hope each and every one of you are doing well and you are feeling well. If you all enjoyed the video, at some point in time, would you please like, share, and subscribe? It will be greatly appreciated, guys. Okay, so this is going to be part 2 of the Natalie Holloway case. I did part 1, Missing Mystery, for Natalie Holloway. Okay, so if you all have not seen that, I would suggest that you watch the part 1 video, okay? There's a lot of detailed information in there that will help you to understand better what I'm talking about in part 2, okay? Because what we're going to do, because that reading, excuse me, was so long, I didn't want the video to end up cutting off and having to do a bunch of editing and this, that, and the third, or whatever. I just decided to do part 2 on, you know, a different video or whatever. Okay, guys? So if you all haven't seen Missing Mystery Part 1, I would greatly appreciate you going to watch that as well, okay? That way you can have a better understanding as to the information that I'm going to give you in Part 2. I'm just going to give you the extra messages that I pulled pertaining to this situation, guys, okay? So let me just get my sage lit. We're going to cleanse the energy, okay? And we're going to get right into these messages. For you all that do not know who Natalie Holloway is, she was an 18-year-old senior who went on a senior trip in 2005, you know, with her class or whatever, to Aruba in the Caribbean, okay? She seemingly vanished, disappeared, and has never been seen or heard from ever again ever since that trip, okay? She is American, okay? So she was born in the United States as well as she resided in the United States. They were just on a senior trip to Aruba or whatever, and, you know, tragedy struck in the situation. Which you can get all the details about that in part 1, okay, guys? So, like I said, I did pull some messages for her, and I'm going to discuss those messages with you all right now. Okay, and then we're going to, we'll just, you know, play it by ear and see if there's anything else that I need to share with you all. Okay, guys. Okay, so let me see. So the first message we have here is blood sacrifice, okay? We talked about how she is a blood sacrifice in part 1, okay? So she was most definitely set up. She was a target, and she was ultimately a blood sacrifice for many different individuals whom are involved, okay? The next message we have here is family secrets. Shh. Okay, so I definitely feel like there is some secrets pertaining to Natalie Holloway's family. You know, things that were kind of hidden or, you know, going on behind the scenes in the dark type of situation. But she definitely had some family secrets that was going on. Hold on, guys. Let me try to adjust this because it seems like the video is trying to do some skipping, and I don't want to get all the way through this and it's all like, you know, not syncing properly and everything, okay? Okay, it seems to be okay. If not, then I'll just have to redo it, okay? The next message we have here is your mother set you up to hide what she did. So I definitely feel like, you know, this could be pertaining to one of the secrets within the family. Obviously, the mother, Beth Holloway, allegedly, you know, did something, went along with something, either pertaining to the situation with her daughter, Natalie Holloway, you know, within the setup, or, you know, and other things that it, you know, took place before she actually went missing, okay? But, she tried to hide what she did about something, okay? So the mother, the spirit is coming through and saying that the mother, you know, played a big role, allegedly, in the disappearance of Natalie Holloway and the setup, you know, against her as well. The next message we have here is wicked witches. There could be witches within her family in part 1. I was able to uncover that she has individuals in her family, mother, father, whom allegedly are a part of secret societies, and different cults or organizations amongst the satanic powers that be. I definitely feel like with this message coming up that somebody that partake in witchcraft or witchery in some type of way, played a role in what happened to Natalie Holloway, guys. Okay. The next message we have here is gang, 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 bang, chain, gang, criminal activity, okay? So like I told you in part 1, while she was still in Aruba, she was drugged and lured away by a set of guys, a set of individuals that she ended up being alone with, who did take advantage of her, who were patsies. They were part of the setup. They did gang rape her, and they left her to be abducted by the traffickers, okay? And so that's what that gang, 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 bang, chain gang, mean. They gang raped her in this situation. That's the reason why that message came out, okay? The next message we have here is modern day slavery. I tell you all the time, we have 800,000 to 1 million people who go missing every single year, okay? And that's just within the United States, okay? This is their new form of modern day slavery. They are, convincing, coercing people to sell their souls, to sell out. They're basically collecting souls, okay? Individuals who do not end up being set up end up being a part of this modern day slavery, which is sex trafficking, human trafficking, type of things that's going on. Individuals that's being placed under mind control. The new modern day slavery is also targeting certain individuals as well, having them gang stalked, targeted, being illegally invaded, stalked, harassed, and different things like that, okay? So the next message we have here is wedding bells. If you all remember, if you watched the part 1, I told you that after Natalie was abducted, there was some type of fraudulent marriage that took place with the person who, bought her, paid for her, in some type of mail order bride, sex slave type of situation, okay? This person did go on to pimp her out and pass her around amongst many other elite individuals. But the wedding bells card came up because she was forced into some type of arranged marriage situation, okay? The next message we have here is satanic powers that be. I feel like this message came up or whatever because I also expressed with you all in part 1 that the satanic powers that be was all over this situation. The red flag should have went off for a lot of people, okay? This made mainstream media news. It was, just kind of blown up all over the world, okay? Immediately you could tell that there was cover-ups going on. There was lies, deceptions, trickery, fuckery, just all kinds of things that took place, okay? There was a lot of individuals involved, from crisis actors to patsies to, sellouts that partook in the situation that happened to Natalie Holloway. And, the satanic powers that be was behind it all, okay, guys? The next message we have here is gang stalking. So like I told you, Natalie was a target, okay? So she had been getting gang stalked a while. I feel like she was even being gang stalked while she was still in the United States before, the seniors at her high school went on the senior trip to Aruba. But she was definitely a target. She was being gang stalked. She was being harassed, by several different people in different ways, shape, forms, and fashions. But, yeah, she was definitely a target. The next message we have here is breaking news. Like I said, this situation did make mainstream media news all over the world several different times, okay? And like I said, the satanic powers that be, they control the airways, okay? So they control these scripted responses that the media give, okay? With the fake news and everything or whatever, because they're all in on, you know, these staged events, these setups, these false flags, and all other kind of things that goes down. But this situation definitely did make breaking news several different times here. We have CNN, Fox News, Fox 16, 13, you know, depending on what your channel is in your area, NBC, CBS, okay? There was just a lot of breaking news pertaining to the situation, but it was a lot of bull, a lot of lies, a lot of deception, a lot of corruption, a lot of red flags pertaining to the situations going on, okay? The next message I have here is RFID chip. I feel like this message came up because either Natalie Holloway's parents sold her out a long time ago, and she had been chipped when she was younger without her knowledge or consent. I feel like she already had an RFID chip in her. If she didn't already have an RFID chip in her, which is how she was being tracked, hacked and stalked and everything, I definitely feel like that one was put in her after she was abducted and you know, delivered to her captors, okay? But there's something about RFID chips, and specifically pertaining to this situation, I feel like she was already chipped, okay? And many of us whom are targets are already chipped. We were chipped as babies, or as, you know, in our toddler ages, between, you know, 1, 2, however old you were when it was done. And it's usually a process is done after you have been put to sleep or something, in some type of surgery or operation or something that you have or whatever. She was implanted with a chip, okay? I feel like she already had a chip in her. There could have been some human experimentation going on with her, but she definitely had a chip in her. This is how she was being tracked. This is why she was a target. This is how she was being stalked, harassed, hacked, everything. Okay, guys? The next message we have here is Sunken Place. I definitely feel like because of the fact that after Natalie Holloway was abducted, she was kept drugged and under MK Ultra mind control. She was definitely in this very deep, dark, sunken place, okay? And she was kept in that state throughout the entire time, because she was taken around a lot of very wealthy, powerful individuals, okay? So they kept her drugs, they kept her under mind control, and, you know, she was literally just being triggered and forced to do everything that, you know, she succumbed to, okay? The next message we have here is he's overly aggressive and mean to women, but talks sweet to other men. So I feel like this individual who paid for Natalie Holloway, who wanted Natalie Holloway, whom, you know, this millionaire, billionaire handler that she had in Hollywood that I told you all about in part 1. He was overly aggressive. I feel like he's overly aggressive and mean to women in general, okay? But this guy, he's a switch hitter, okay? He is down low gay, because he talks sweet to other men, which means, it doesn't mean he doesn't have sex or fool with women, but he's controlling and possessive and aggressive and mean to women. Like, he just wants to control women, abuse women. But he's like sweet on other men, okay? And, you know, he's the type of millionaire, billionaire who really gets satisfied and gratified by being with other men, okay? That's what really gets his dick hard, okay? Is why he talks sweet to other men, okay? So the next message we have here, the higher ups is pulling the strings of the puppets. So like I told you, there's a lot of people who are involved. They were either patsies, they were either sellouts, they were paid for their participation in the whole setup against Natalie Holloway. And the powers that be are pulling the strings of all those puppets, okay? They're controlling them all, okay? Everybody who is involved, who is connected to Natalie Holloway and other individuals that she came into contact with, okay, are all puppets. And they're and the powers that be, the higher ups, they're pulling the strings of those puppets pertaining to this situation. The next message we have here is devil worshippers. I definitely feel like a lot of different individuals, this falls upon a lot of different individuals. People related to Natalie Holloway, people that she was probably cool with or friends with, People obviously involved in the situation, in drugging her, luring her away, gang raping her, leaving her, setting her up to be trafficked, as well as the individuals that she ended up being around, that she was trafficked to. These individuals are devil worshippers, okay? And they did a lot of satanic rituals, a lot of sex magic, and different things with Natalie Holloway. Spirit is coming through and saying that these individuals that partook in this situation are hypocrites, okay? They're all hypocrites. They all got on camera, you know, like crisis actors do, play and pretend like they love Natalie, like they care so much about her, like they, was, seriously concerned about her whereabouts and this, that, and the third. But they're all hypocrites because they were all in on the setup, and many of them were paid, okay? The next message we have here is setup gone wrong, okay? I definitely feel like that something took place at some point in time that didn't go exactly as expected as they wanted it to. And that's a part of the setup, because like I said, it's a setup anyway. You see that off top, it's a setup. But something about the setup went wrong. I don't think they wanted it to go exactly like it did. It was something about the situation that that went awry, that didn't quite go as planned, okay? The next message we have here is pay attention to the red flags. I discussed all of those red flags with you all in part 1. The red flag, several different red flags, okay? The fact that she went on the senior trip with her classmates, yet, she was the only female who was lured away by this group of guys that ended up attacking her, assaulting her, leaving her, and she ended up trafficked, okay? The red flag that this made, people, all kind of crimes going on a daily basis, but the ones that make mainstream media news, you best believe that the satanic powers that be are behind. The red flag that her mom ended up dating John Ramsey, which is the father of Jean Bonnet Ramsey, which is also a little girl who was brutally raped, tortured, and murdered in her own home. A little 6-year-old girl, little pageant baby. There was a lot of red flags pertaining to this situation, okay? A lot of lies, deceptions, disruptions, chaos pertaining to this situation. Just a lot of people involved. The next message we have here is harm. There was definitely harm done, okay? A lot of harm that was done upon Natalie Holloway. She was hurt severely many times. She was grossly used and abused in several different ways. The next message we have here is hackers, trackers, and whackers, okay? Because of the fact that she was a targeted individual, because of the fact that she was being gang stalked, she was being hacked, she was being tracked with the RFID chip that was already in her, and ultimately she was killed by whackers that took her life, that snuffed her out. The next message we have here is United States citizens being sold out to the enemy, okay? We have a lot of sellouts in this world, okay? People who have sold their souls to the devil. People who have sold their souls to the satanic beast system 666, to the satanic powers that be. They're working for the enemy, and I kid you not, they will literally sacrifice anyone at any time, anywhere, okay, for the bag, for the love of money. They're greedy, they're materialistic. They will sacrifice their children, their mamas, their daddies, their cousins, their aunts, their uncles, their grandparents. They're even their own children, okay? They're their friends, they're people that they work with, like they don't care, okay? And these individuals are also the ones who are recruited to be gang stalkers, okay? So they will sacrifice people who aren't even connected to them or aren't even related to them, okay? Because of the fact that they're being paid, because of the fact that they're sellouts, they are controlled by the satanic powers that be. So whatever they're told to do, they go along with it, okay? And they do it all for the love of money. The next message we have here is cursed from birth. I feel like this came out because, in a way, I feel like Natalie Holloway, kind of felt like something was off in her life. She probably always felt like, there was this dark cloud over her in some type of way. Although, like I said, in part 1, she was an all-American teen. She, very beautiful girl, blonde hair, blue eyes, very athletic. I believe she was on the cheerleading team. She was like, I think like a twirler, on a flag team, or, tour de baton type of thingies. She made straight A's. She was a very good student, okay? Very beautiful girl, but it was something, you know, very sinister in her life, or about her life, where she literally felt like, she had been cursed, or like, things and people that she was around just was not quite right. So I feel like that message more so pops out because that's the way she was feeling. Because ultimately, she ended up betrayed by the people closest to her. Okay? The next message we have here is Illuminati trying to initiate you. Okay? So I definitely feel like ultimately she was taken, okay, like I said, because of the fact that she was a straight A student, very good student, athletic, blonde hair, blue eyes, which what they loved the most. They wanted to initiate her into these satanic powers that be, okay? They wanted to use her for the purposes of themselves, okay? But they really just ended up brutalizing her. They ended up enslaving her through sex slavery and things like that, or whatever. And this is how the Illuminati initiate, okay? So any of you thinking about getting in these secret societies, honey, you have to get on that gravy train. If you don't know what gravy is, that's sodomy, okay? That's you being popped in the behind, okay? By somebody else, to bust through that hymen, honey, okay? And you have to do a lot of other very sinister, demonic, satanic, masonic, and grotesque things as well. A lot of rituals, a lot of sacrifices. There's a lot of different things that the Illuminati and the satanic powers that be do to initiate you, okay? One of which is gang rape. Another, like I said, sodomy. Another, it's just a lot of different things, okay? And that's for those of them who sell their souls willingly. When you end up being abducted, trafficked, sold to sex slavery, you're like literally just treated like, I was gonna say like a dog, but I mean there are dogs that is treated better than how they treat these victims that go through this, okay? Because they, even though they doing these rituals with you and sex magic with you and pimping you out, passing you around, and all kinds of things like that or whatever, they have absolutely no respect for you. They literally do so for to please and appease them only type of thing, okay? So the next message we have here is snapped, okay? Somebody in this situation snapped. I feel like this is one of the guys, either the Cowpo brothers or Jaren van der Sloot. Somebody in that group who she was last seen with before she disappeared snapped, okay? I feel like that was the individual who ended up grabbing her neck and, kind of dragging her along or forcing her when they assaulted her. And this all happened in Arabia. So this was before she actually disappeared and was trafficked, okay? But somebody in this situation snapped, okay? And if it's not pertaining to that situation, then it's definitely pertaining to the individual that ended up killing her. When they finally did. But she was actually alive for quite a while, quite some time after, she was abducted, okay? The next message we have here is Satanic Cults. I definitely feel like that these are the individuals who were involved with the sex rituals, the sex magic, the black magic, the voodoo practices, the satanic rituals that was done with Natalie Holloway. These people are in satanic cults, okay? And they do these very sinister, demonic things, okay? They feel like it gives them power, the adrenochrome, the drinking of blood, the eating of the human heart, and, killing and torture and pain and all types of things, like really give these people a sense of, they think it gives them a sense of power and, even a boost of energy, especially when this energy comes from a younger person or a virgin or something like that or whatever. This is what these satanic cults do, okay? So whether they doing a human ritual or an animal sacrifice ritual or something like that, they're doing so for the energy, for the power, for the, whatever it is that they're conjuring up. They're doing these things to offer these demonic beings, these demonic gods that they worship, these offerings to give them power and to give them, other things that they want. So, a lot of satanic cults are around, like, all over the world, okay? It's not even just the United States. This is all over the world. And this is the very reason why the world that we live in is so sinister, Masonic and demonic, okay? And it's just an awful place that we live. And it's just really a shame that this is the world that we live in. And this is what the people has to go through. I just don't understand how one can be awakened and still carelessly and recklessly bring children into this world. Because if you are somebody who says you are awake, and most people go through an awakening at a certain age in life, at a certain point in time in life, for you to carelessly bring children into this world, being awake, being aware to that these things are going on, that is cruel and unusual punishment to me, okay? I didn't give birth to my daughter until I was 24 years old, okay? But I didn't go through my awakening until I was 30, okay? And, even then, it's a slow process, because the longer you're within this awakening, the more and more the veil has been lifted from your eyes, the more information you're getting, the more you're learning, the more you're knowing, the more you're seeing and everything. But, people out here just carelessly and recklessly bringing children into the world, knowing that this world is evil and satanic and awful as it is cruel and unusual punishment. You're literally having children, bringing them into the world just for them to end up slaves, okay? Because we are not free, okay? We have never been free, okay? And everything about this world is three main things: satanic, Masonic, and demonic. Period. The next message we have here is karmic mother and father, okay? So I definitely feel like Natalie Holloway's parents were karmics, okay? There may have been some toxic energy amongst the parents. I do know that her mother and her father were no longer together, but I feel like there was some overall karmic, they're karmics, but I feel like there was some overall tensions amongst their family, amongst the mother and the father, perhaps even towards Natalie and different things, and she just kind of fell off. And even though in public she showed herself as bubbly and bright and beautiful and put together and focused and different things like that, I definitely feel like there was some things amongst these karmic parents that was, very, unsettling, uneasy for her, okay? Yeah. So the next message we have here is deadbeat dads, okay? I definitely feel like that maybe her dad was a deadbeat. Maybe he wasn't in her life like that. Maybe her dad, mistreated her mom, and the mom ended up mistreating her, taking it out on her because the dad left, type of thing. I mean, those things, this is allegedly, guys, okay? So, and this is what's coming to me through spirit or whatever. So I'm going to say allegedly, just because of the simple fact that I was not there to know this. But this message came through for a reason, okay? The message came through that, the mother set the daughter up. The message came through that the mother and the father are karmics. The message came through that the dad is a deadbeat, okay? Like the cards ain't going to lie. Spirit has no reason to lie. I don't have no reason to make it up. Something, and then remember I had the family secrets card. There was something very hidden, very secret within that family that was going on that Natalie was having to harbor, having to hold inside, okay? The next message we have here is them folks ain't right. And I literally feel like that this literally came out behind deadbeat dads and karmic mother and father. And I feel like Natalie is coming through saying them folks ain't right. Like, maybe they didn't treat her right. Maybe there was, some sinister underlining things about them. Because like I told you all in the first video, my spirit guides did tell me that they are a part of secret societies. They do mix and mingle with these powers that be, and things too. So, somebody in this situation, somebody that attacked Natalie, thought that she was bad and bougie, okay? They probably seen her, because she's, bubbly, beautiful girl, blonde hair, blue eyes, attractive female. She's probably the kind of girl that was friends with who she was friends with, attracted to who she was attracted to, and, didn't really much bother anybody else type of thing. But somebody, I feel like, took offense to this because they felt like she was bad and bougie. Like stuck up type, okay, or something, and they took this out on her, okay. But I told you she was already a target, so this was probably the approach that was taken upon her while she was being gang stalked. Like, this little stuck up spoiled brat here, jealousy, envy, and things like that, because she was a straight A student, because she was athletic, because she was skilled or talented in what she was able to do, because she was beautiful, because she, was bubbly, for whatever reason. People, I swear, will be jealous of you and envious of you for random ass things that don't even have to make sense, especially if you were a target. You understand what I'm saying? Like, it don't even matter, okay? They will just be, but somebody felt like she was bad and bougie, okay? And I felt like somebody, like, took it out on her. Like, you think you are that, don't you? You know what I'm saying? You bad and bougie. You stuck up. You this, you that. Somebody felt like that about her. And then we got sassy but classy. She probably had a little mouth on her, okay? She was a little sassy, okay? She'll talk back to you now. Don't get it twisted. She'll talk back, but she was classy. She was classy with it too, because she was knowledgeable. She had good grades. It's not like she was stupid, ignorant. She wasn't out of control and very promiscuous, overly promiscuous, and different things like that. Like I told you all in part one, she was a virgin up until the time that she got to Aruba. I believe when she got to Aruba, she felt that sense, the wind blew, and she felt that sense of, I'm 18 and I'm grown, okay? Type of thing. When you turn 18, you like, yeah, so I'm going to drink, I'm going to party, I'm going to have some sex if I want to, type of thing or whatever. But she wasn't like out of control with it. She wasn't no out of control teen or nothing like that. Because if she was out of control like that, she wouldn't have been able to keep up straight A's, okay, being an honor student. She wouldn't have been able to keep up being athletic. She wouldn't have been able to keep up her appearance like that. She would have had a more sketchy, edgy, dark type of appearance if she was just kind of, out there like that. But somebody definitely thought she was sassy. Somebody thought she was bad and bougie. Somebody looked at her like, this chick ain't no angel type of thing, or whatever. So somebody was definitely jealous and envious of her, and I believe people displayed this throughout targeting her, okay? So the next message we have here is accept the wicked for whom they are and get out as soon as possible, okay? She was most definitely surrounded by a bunch of wicked, evil individuals. I believe she felt the sense of this. Her being 18, finishing school, going on this trip. She probably, was at that peak where she was thinking about, okay, what is the rest of what I'm going to do with my life? I'm finally old enough where I could just take off and do this and do that and don't have to deal with these folks that ain't right anymore. And, then she was set up, okay? But, she didn't get out in time, okay? I feel like maybe she felt like she wanted to get out. She wanted to get away. I believe she was smart enough to sense some things around her that wasn't right with certain individuals, and she had that thought. She had that inkling in her mind. I need to be making plans for the future. I want to get out. I want to get away. I want to, whatever. But she just wasn't able to in time before this tragically happened to her. Yeah. The next message we have here, a whole karmic family is evil to the core. So this could be her family, or this could be some other individuals that she came into contact with, okay? But there's a lot of karmics in this situation. A lot of crisis actors, a lot of ops, a lot of sellouts, a lot of the powers that be. But these people are karmics. These people are very satanic and evil and demonic, but either this is, because this is a whole karmic family, is evil to the core. So I almost feel like I said, this could be her family, but I really, and I got the karmic mother, karmic father, in her situation. So like I said, it is a possibility that this could be her family. But I feel like some individuals she came into contact with after she was abducted. She maybe came in contact with a family of individuals that used her, that abused her. Maybe this millionaire, billionaire handler that sent for her, that paid for her like she was some kind of object, already had a family, okay? And ended up being in this entanglement with them. And they were very sinister and very evil to the freaking core. And that's what I'm more so getting from that card, okay? Illuminati stealing minds, souls, and bodies, okay? I told you, they in the business of stealing souls, guys, okay? And people are selling out left and right. Selling out for nothing more than some temporary comforts and some little small incentives, okay? These don't even be big enough incentives, large enough incentives that's going to keep you rich for the rest of your life. It's not like you can retire, never work again, and never have to worry about money again in your life. Like, people are selling out for literally a little of nothing, okay? And they're still slaves themselves. Is what's so crazy. But the Illuminati, honey, there has been this active genocidal plot against American citizens for the longest, okay? I feel like one way or another, they are out to get all of us. You understand what I'm saying? And so, they stop at nothing. Y'all gotta understand, these people spend billions of dollars on keeping you entertained, keeping you distracted, keeping you brainwashed, dumbed down, blind, you know what I'm saying? Everything, okay? They got all kind of ways. They got the mind control technology, directed energy, weapons, you know, all types of things that they are doing to the American people. RFID chips, brain chips, okay? They're using this artificial intelligence against us. And all kinds of sick, twisted stuff. I swear to God, they got a million different ways to kill us. No lie. The next message is someone you trusted has betrayed you and is very disloyal to you, okay? So I feel like this could be a family member. This could be the mother, allegedly. But someone that Natalie thought she could trust betrayed her, okay? They betrayed her. And they were very disloyal to her. This could be her mother, allegedly. This could be her father, allegedly. This could be a boyfriend. This could be a friend. This could be several different people. But someone she knew personally who was close to her, she thought she could trust. But they betrayed her. And they were disloyal to her by going along with this setup. By going along with this plot. For money. Nothing more than some money. Not even enough money to set you up for life. Yeah, the mother. Didn't I tell you, someone you trusted has betrayed you and is very disloyal to you. Look what came up next. Murderous mother. What was the message? Watch this. Watch this. I told you she was a blood sacrifice. Okay? Watch this. I told you there was family secrets. Okay, watch this. Your mother set you up to hide what she did. Okay? Stop playing with me. Stop playing with me. Murderous mother. Went along with the setup. Remember, the mom and the dad, even though all of them was a part of it, went along with the setup, she was living with her mother. Believe the mother probably had the ultimate say-so. It's the main sellout out the group that went along with this setup against Natalie Holloway, allegedly. Yeah. The mama was a black witch. A black wicked witch. Okay? And I don't mean like, when I say black wicked witches, I'm not talking about an African American person, a brown skinned person. It can, this card can be used for that. But when I say black wicked witch, somebody that practiced black magic. Okay? She practiced black magic. She was in some type of sisterhood, a secret society of some kind, and they practiced black magic. Sex addiction. Somebody had a sex addiction that attacked Natalie Holloway. Black magic. Didn't I just say? Black magic was done on this girl. I believe even before she went on this trip, black magic was being done on her. Black magic continued to be done on her. Sex magic and all other type of things, even after she was taken. Okay? Yeah, didn't I tell you she was a targeted individual? Natalie and Holloway was a targeted individual. This is the reason why she was being, didn't we get the gang stalking? She was being gang stalked. Okay? She was being gang stalked, guys. Gang stalking. Targeted individual. Can't make it up. Next message. Human sex trafficking. Natalie Holloway disappeared for the purposes of human sex trafficking. Didn't I tell you? There's some secrets within that family. They had no problem with selling this girl out. I'm telling you, she was chipped when she was younger. Okay? They always had an eye on Natalie. The powers that be. Okay? Your father never loved you. It's probably why he left. Her and her mother. Your father never loved you. Social engineering. This is the reason why she was chipped when she was younger. It's the reason why I was chipped when I was younger. When I was like 1. They implanted a chip in me. Behind my ear and my neck. Social engineering. Also, human experimentation. There's many people in the world who is already chipped and do not know it. Okay? For these 2 reasons. Social engineering and human experimentation. I'm not here for you to believe me. Look it up. Open your eyes. Do your own research before you call me a lie. Because I got no reason to lie. And you can't deny it. Once again, came up twice. Human trafficking. This is a lucrative business for the satanic powers that be. Do you know how many billions and trillions of dollars is made off the sex trade alone? Think about it. That's the reason why human trafficking, sex trafficking, organ harvesting, drug trafficking are crimes that will never end. And no matter how many times the military, the FBI, the CIA, or any of them people come before you and act like they're doing some major sting, some big buzz, them is low-level damn people that they set up any darn way just to back them up against the wall to get them to sell out and work for them. Okay? Your government, these satanic powers that be is running this whole operation, baby. Okay? And people like the FBI, the CIA, the military, who you think they working for? Who you think pay their checks? Pay their salaries? None other than the satanic powers that be. So this is the reason why they protect and serve these elite satanic powers that be only, not the American people. Y'all better wake up. They make billions of trillions of dollars off of this. It will never end. Prostitution, all this trick in the book will never end. The sex trade and the drug trade alone makes trillions of dollars, billions of trillions of dollars. Who you think get making that money? The powers that be, the richest people in the land. You ain't making it. Guess what? You don't know nobody that either do drugs or sell drugs that can import the drugs in. They don't have no ships. They don't have no containers. They don't have no barges. None of that. That stuff gets shipped over from overseas somewhere. You understand me? It ain't no low-level, po-hustling drug dealer or drug addict that you know that is able to move weight like that. So who you think running the operation? Y'all better wake up. Y'all better wake up. Okay, so the next message we have here is loosing and releasing all people, places, and things attached to negative energy. This is the reason why I told you, like, Natalie was feeling this. Like, she really felt like she wanted to get away, go away. She felt like, okay, I done made it through school. I done finished school. I'm tired of this toxic crap, these toxic people around me. She was thinking about her next move, how she was going to get out. And she wanted to, like, loose and release. And I believe maybe the people around her knew this. This is the reason why this plan was put in motion. It was the perfect thing that she was going on this trip. I guarantee you, her being funded to go on that trip, having enough money to go on that trip was probably paid for. The money was probably given to her parents. They made it seem like, you know, the parents were paying for her to go on this nice trip or whatever. But I guarantee you the powers that be gave her the money. Gave the parents some money to give to her to go on this trip just so they could set her up to take her. Because I believe people around her knew that she was looking for her way to get out. Okay? What she was going to making plans in her life. What she was going to do. She was 18. She, at that point in time, finished school and everything. She was free to do whatever she wanted to do with her life. Okay? And they knew that. This means they wouldn't have had that grip, that hold, that pull on her anymore. So they hurried up and put it into place to set her up, to sex traffic her, make money off of her. So damn, yeah. Whew. Okay, the next message we have here is when you know better, you do better, okay? When you know better, you do better. I feel like this message came up or whatever because I believe, you know, I believe that Natalie knew better than to run off with some strangers in a strange place that she never been, with people that she didn't know and things like that. This is the reason why they had to lure her away. This is the reason why they had to drug her and, you know, forcibly get her overly intoxicated and lure her away the way they did because she knew better. Okay? Yeah. Look, and this is pertaining to the gang stalkers. This is because she was a target. They smile in your face all while they want to take your place. Those backstabbers. Okay? Those backstabbers. This is how the people were that was jealous of her, that was envious of her, that was targeting her, that was stalking her, harassing her, hacking her, tracking her. They smile in her face. They try to play nice, but all along they want to take her place. All along they was in on the setup. They stabbed her in the back. They betrayed her. The next message we have here is caution, beware. I feel like this is another message that came through directly from Natalie Holloway. You know, that these people are very sinister, very evil, okay? Or I feel like, you know, she felt the need to have some type of caution at some point in time while she was on this trip. She knew something wasn't right, didn't feel right. I believe after the fact that she got lured away and she was so intoxicated that she knew something wasn't right. Something was horribly wrong or whatever. And, you know, she should have just had a better judgment, okay? But everybody around her was in on the setup. And although her classmates didn't actively participate in playing a role with everything else that took place with her and happened to her, they were aware that she was a target. They was aware that a setup, that she was being set up, that something was going to go down with her, okay? The next message we have here is CIA, FBI, government. They covered up things in this case, okay? They covered up things in this case because it linked back to some very powerful elite individuals in power. Vacay getaway. Wasn't she on a vacation? Wasn't she on a getaway in Aruba, in the Caribbean? Y'all do your research. There's a whole lot of tourists that travel, especially ones that travel by themselves, that smooth vanish and go missing or pop up dead, okay? Intimidation tactics. I feel like they were using some form of intimidation tactics on her to try to, and I believe this had to do with like her getting drunk, her getting high while she was down there. You know, I feel like there was a lot of peer pressure for her to, you know, loosen up and hang out with everybody else, do what everybody else was doing. And they were using these targeting intimidation tactics on her. And as soon as she did loosen up a little bit, smoke a little bit, drink a little bit, somebody put something in her drink. And she was way too intoxicated and they lured her away. Okay? Yep. Third party situation. Third party situation. Joran van der Slots, the Kalpo brothers, third party situation. Okay? Murder. She was ultimately murdered. Okay? Her life was snuffed out. It was recorded too. Okay? Her life was taken during a satanic sex ritual. Alcoholism. So we already came up. Somebody had a sex addiction. Somebody had an alcohol addiction that took part in this situation. Somebody had drug addictions. 6 Satanists was involved in this whole plot, this scheme against Natalie Holloway. Manipulation, sneaky, con artist, okay? Very dark energy, antimatter, evil, wicked, demonically possessed beings. Manipulation. Hitman. Hitman. Okay? I don't know. Remember we got set up gone wrong? I don't know if somebody just wanted her killed while she was out there on this trip. And just to wrap it up and get it over with or whatever. And later they decided to traffic her. Or was it always the setup to traffic her? Maybe her death was the setup that went wrong. Maybe, you know, she wasn't, they didn't want her to die right then or something. But I mean, if they done something like, you know, to seriously injure her and kill her, then, and if a hitman was hired, okay, a hitman was hired at some point, okay, and I think somebody was just going to take her out and kill her, and something changed up with the plans, okay. Can't trust nobody. She definitely could not trust anybody, okay. None of the people that she was close to, that she knew, that she grew up around, that she had just met, that got friendly with her. She couldn't trust anybody. And I believe she knew this. She felt this, which is why a part of her was a little bit standoffish about certain things. Like she was there to have fun, have a good time, enjoy vacation amongst senior, you know, friends and different things like that or whatever. But I feel like this girl just couldn't trust anybody. And she knew she couldn't trust anybody well before, you know, things got bad. Okay? Why? Because these people had bad energy around her. It was a bunch of trickery, a bunch of fuckery, a bunch of con artists, okay, that was working against her. She probably knew that she was a target, okay? Yeah. Why? Because they're crisis actors. I told you. The Joran guy, he's a crisis actor. The Kalpo brothers, crisis actor, okay? Everybody involved were freaking crisis actors. They were paid. Police involvement. Didn't I tell you that the Aruba police, they are also aware of what actually took place, what actually happened to Natalie Holloway, okay? So police involvement in the cover-up part of what happened to Natalie. Who can you trust when everyone has betrayed you? I told you. Family, friends. Everybody betrayed her. Who can you trust when everybody has betrayed you, okay? That's how she felt, man. That's literally how she felt. Fraudulent marriage. I told y'all in part 1 that there was some type of fraudulent marriage that took place after she was abducted, okay? Like a mail order bride, sex slave type of situation. That's how this millionaire, billionaire individual, you know, like, when that individual purchased her, like she was an object, like there was this fraudulent marriage shit that went on, like that was like really crazy. But she still ended up getting like passed around and pimped out. She was nothing more than a sex slave. They used her how they wanted to use her. The next message we have here is cloning lab. In part 1, I told you at some point in time, Natalie was taken to the cloning lab, and I didn't get a direct answer as to if she was actually cloned. She possibly could have been, but when that information came up about the cloning lab, I heard my spirit guide say for a ritual. Okay, so some type of ritual was done at this cloning lab that they took her to. It's probably underground as well. The next message we have here is betrayed by lies and deceptions from family, from church, from school, from friends, from lovers, from workforce, from strangers, from the world / government. This girl had been betrayed by everybody. Okay? She had been betrayed by everybody. And at the last minute, she realized just how much so she had been betrayed, and there was nothing she could do. They don't care about us. These satanic powers that be, although they like their blonde hair, blue eyes, they don't care about any of us, okay? A lot of people harp about race a whole lot, but guess what? You are not amongst their 13 bloodlines, okay? You don't have their wealth, their power, anything else. Okay, so we're all really seen as one race, okay, of people, as the overall masses, okay, of we the people. And they don't care about any of us. I don't care if you middle class to lower class, okay? They don't care about none of us. You could be a little bit upper class, okay? They don't care about any of us. She or he is so cold-hearted. I feel like he is so cold-hearted because, like I told you all, this millionaire, billionaire guy from Hollywood that paid for her and literally summoned her to him, that this fraudulent marriage took place with or whatever, that ended up being her handler. He is very possessive, very aggressive, very abusive and mean to women. But he talks sweet to men. Like, men is what really turned him on. And because he's, you know, millionaire status, of course he is expected to freely and willingly engage in gay sexual activities. When you're amongst the elite, especially in Hollywood, it is just, it's very much well known that the guys have to get down like that. And even the ones of them who, you know, appear to the public that they're heterosexual, their wives, their women that you see them with, they're their beards, okay? And their women know full well, you know, behind the scenes what they do and how they really get down and what they got to be a part of and what they got to do, because the women are still left too, okay? And the women have to do their own thing too, and things get done with them and different things like that. But I believe this is the individual that is coming through as so cold-hearted. This person here absolutely hates women. He does not like women at all. I wouldn't be surprised if he wants to be a woman. I wouldn't be surprised if deep down he's got mommy issues. I wouldn't be surprised if he went through some type of childhood trauma himself. But this bastard hates women. He literally uses money and his power to bring in, you know, to pull in women. And most of these women that, you know, probably circulate around him is nothing more than gold diggers anyway. That want all they can get from him. So he just uses them however he wants to. But what sexually gratifies him, what feels good to him, what will really get his dick hard is another man, an ass. Period, point blank, okay? And if you into that, baby, you into that. It is what it is. You understand? But I'm just telling you how I see it, child. I can spot him from a mile away, babe. Yeah, somebody had a drug addiction that was a part of this situation as well. So drug addiction, alcohol addiction, sex addiction. I feel like these are the individuals that lured her away, that ended up assaulting her before leaving her to be abducted, okay? And last but not least, they can no longer control you, okay? So I don't know if when they decided to kill her, they felt like she was no longer controllable, if she was like trying to break programming, if she was trying to fight back or something. But somebody snapped. Somebody got pissed off, and they went on and decided to kill her, or whatever. But at some point, either so if it wasn't that situation, because like I said, they kept her drugs and under mind control from the moment that she was abducted and ended up where she was. I felt like I said, she was 18. She was a senior, okay, and with all the things that she was going through at home and different things like that or whatever, she was at that peak and point in her life of deciding what she wanted to do with her life, how she was going to move forward. She wanted to get out. She wanted to get away from toxic people. She wanted to loose and release people from her and her surroundings that did not serve her best interest, or whatever. And I believe this is the parents. These are her guardians or whatever, who felt like they could not control her anymore. Thus, they went along with the setup. Sold their own daughter, allegedly, for money. They couldn't control her anymore. So they sold her out to the satanic powers that be, guys. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that, okay? Okay, guys. Well, this video went on a little bit longer than I expected. This concludes part 2 of the Natalie Holloway's case, okay? For this segment of Missing Mysteries. I do thank each and every one of you for listening and for watching. If you would be so kind to like, share, and subscribe, it would be greatly appreciated. If there's anybody who would like to contact me concerning a missing mystery, a murder mystery, or just a general topic that you would like for me to do a reading on, I would be more than happy to do so. You can email me at tiffanyziegler60@gmail.com. If there is anyone who would like to donate to the channel, that is greatly appreciated as well. You will help me to grow and to glow this channel. You will help me to help and heal as many other people as I so possibly can. You can donate through Cash App, okay, at $TiffDiamond36, okay. You can find the correct spelling of that in the description box below, okay. And as I always tell you all, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, but most of all, take care of your babies. Y'all stop selling your souls, okay. Stop selling your souls for little pieces of silver, okay? Because y'all not even selling your souls for gold, okay? So y'all stop selling your soul. Stop selling out your children, okay? And stop being willing to do any and everything for money. As I always tell you all, this is an evil, wicked, wicked world that we live in. The wickedness is all around us, definitely in high places. And they run, rule, and control everything in the world, okay? So there is evil that is lurking around every single corner. And you just never know when somebody is going to stab you in your back, when somebody is going to betray you, when somebody is going to be disloyal unto you, okay? Keep you some protection on you. Watch your surroundings. Watch the company you keep. And watch the surroundings and the company in which your children are in as well, okay, guys? Y'all stay awake, stay aware, stay vigilant, and stay prepared, okay? Because if you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready, baby. Y'all be careful shopping for the holidays, okay? Until the next time, peace, love, and light. Namaste.